Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckets of Love. Today, we're going to talk about the friend bucket. This is actually a really important bucket to have working in your relationship because when we first meet, we're like so in love and we're often so in lust, and we can lose sight of the fact that this person that we want to be with, we'd like them to be our friend too. Sometimes we can just have that happen. Sometimes we actually meet people and we are friends first and then it develops, and that's probably a kind of cool way to do it, I think, that you meet as friends and then it becomes something like a love relationship. The friend relationship is very important in the love relationship, because if you don't have it, you will actually be quite lonely and you will seek out friends everywhere else, and that can actually put strain on your relationship and some jealousy issues. You will know if you're good friends, and good friends are easy to find in relationships because the people have like a companion, like you're my mate. That's how we say it in Australia. And it's devoid of any sexual or physical stuff normally, in the same way as a love relationship, even though you'll give them hugs and kisses, your friends, and be there and hold their hand if they're crying. The friend relationship is someone who you're living with, or even if you're in the relationship, you don't live together, who will be there for you. Your friends will be there for you. They will be there for you when you're wonderful and everything's going really great. They will be there for when your life is falling apart, and they won't desert you. They will try and help you. Sometimes they might have things happening in their life that are overwhelming them and they can't give you as much, but at the end of the day, they're actually there. They listen to you, they help you, they support you, they laugh with you, they cry with you. And if you can have a friend bucket that's full in your love relationship, you have a really good relationship then. Because we can't always be kissing and hugging and jumping into bed and going on romantic dinners every 5 minutes. There's normal life going on, and it's during the times of normal life that the friend bucket is actually very important. The friend is usually very polite too, and they're not begrudging, and they're quite tolerant and have compassion for you. So if you've got a migraine headache and you're a bit grumpy and maybe even a little bit nasty to people because you're hurting so much, they won't give you a hard time. They'll just give you some more tablets and hope they work fast. The friend will also do things for you without you feeling guilty. They don't put any pressure on you. They want to help you. If you're going to be late, they start dinner. If you can't make it, they do the extra chore. They won't be begrudging. They will help you pick the kids up or whatever. They'll also give you a lot of freedom. If someone's got a full friend bucket, they're okay with you going out with other people and doing other things because you're friends. And that friendship bucket is very, very important. The friendship bucket is actually the bucket that will get you through the tough times. That's what I feel. Because when things aren't working and you've lost your job or you're sick or your mum's dying, you don't really need a romantic, frenzied relationship right now. You need a friend. You need someone, because you don't feel like having a big extravaganza romance right now because your mum's dying. And they will step that and put that bucket aside just for a while, and they will just be your friend. They're also the people who will go and buy the takeaway when you can't cook tea, go to the chemist when you can't get to the chemist. They will sit up with you when you're throwing up, keep an eye on you. They will stay up with you during a difficult time. They will drive you to places. They will pick you up. The friend bucket is important, and some people are good friends and very supportive, and other people are selfish and they're not very good friends. And that's why I want you to have a look at this bucket, because I want you to look at who you're with and what you're like. Are you a good friend to your partner? Will you do everything for them and treat them like you would your other friend? Because when we have friends outside the house, it's interesting how we will actually probably sometimes be on our better behaviour. But when we start living with people or become in a love relationship, we can actually start to be a little bit of a spoiled brat. And I've seen that happen, that someone is really good friends to someone else, but they're not very good friends to their husband or their wife or their partner. And there's a sort of a code of friendship. Friendship's got like a very wide gate, and there are boundaries, of course, but they will flex and change according to what's happening in the other person's life. When someone's your friend, they say that they meet your needs that you don't say you need. So they read you well, so they will know when you need peace, when you need quiet, when you need a holiday, or when you need a bit extra hug and a kiss. They intuitively pick it up and often be very good at working out what's best for you. Not what's best for them, but what's best for you. And they'll often put you first. And I think that's the other thing you can have a look at. If your partner is able to be your friend and put you first and be unselfish, then you have a really full bucket. But if you're married or with somebody who's kind of selfish and won't put you first and won't actually be your friend and wants you to rely on other people who are your friend to do it, you might need to talk about that. Friends are also people who accept all of us. They're normally not critical. They might give advice when they see you running into the fire or falling off the cliff or going out with the loser person. But if you don't do it, they won't punish you for it. They'll still be your friend. So it's a fairly unconditional love relationship quite often. You can have conditional love friendships, but a friend will actually take all the parts of you and accept them and work around it and work with it. If you have this in your relationship, that the person is tolerant of you and doesn't make a big deal out of stuff or rub your nose in it when you did it wrong or didn't listen, now you're in worse mess, then you have a good relationship. And the friend relationship will actually be one that will help you last. Because as I said earlier, life throws us some really hard, difficult times, and we don't need to be having a relationship where the person won't be our friend. We need a friend in our relationship, in our house. Friends also do things for you, and they will be usually generous with their time with you, and you can look at that in your relationship, and generous with their money often with you. And they'll also be generous in that they listen to you and give advice. And because they know you well, they've got your best interests at heart. I think our friends try to meet our needs and we try to meet their needs, and that's what friendship's all about. If you are looking at your partner and thinking, are we really friends? You can still work on that. It's about doing things for one another, to help each other. It's about being caring and tolerant. It's about being there for people and not abandoning them when things go wrong. And it's there to let them be their whole selves and not telling them how to feel. Because your friends normally don't tell you how to feel, they just let you talk. And they are not super critical of you either. If you have this in your relationship, I feel it has a good chance of lasting, because when you're friends with somebody, you sort of take them what's and all and just the way they are. And okay, sometimes you might have some times when you're a bit apart if you're angry with them or they did something hurtful, but it can be repaired. So if you have that in your relationship, you can weather all the storms and you can get through life, because what you'll do is, instead of using the romantic relationship, now you're using the friend one a little bit more, and then you'll go back to the romantic one. And that's the other thing too. Friends will be very tolerant. They will treat you almost like different people and maybe not be so critical of you or judgmental of you. Friends tend not to be judgmental. Other people might be judgmental of you and critical of your friends are. And if they do have to say something that is a little harsh, they'll usually say it in a really, really kind way. There's also the other element, which is the truth element. When you have a good friendship with somebody, and hopefully it's with your partner and the bucket's full, you can actually be honest and tell the truth. You might need to tell what I call the kind truth, because there's a kind way to say the truth, to soften it. However, this person will tell you the truth. If they say to you in your friend bucket, do you think I'm wrong to do this, or what do you think? They will actually tell you the truth. They won't make up some story or just give you some line. They will actually tell you the truth. And you need to have that in your friend bucket, that you trust that person and they will tell you the truth. And actually they will be loyal to you and they will stand by your side. And that's another thing, if you've got someone who's loyal, particularly once you come together and you're dating and then you're meeting each other's friends and also the family, the most important one, the extended family, then you need to have someone who's going to be your friend and be loyal to you and perhaps put you above the family when necessary. And that's actually quite a crucial one, because they're supposed to meet your needs first now, and the needs of the other family will fluctuate. All depends what's happening. Sometimes they will need to be looking after the extended family, but other times they won't. Try and fill up the friend bucket. It's going to stabilise your relationship. It's a really good foundation. And when everything else is moving around, if you have a good friendship and you're good friends with each other as well, and you relate well, you're going to have more success than if you're just the romantic relationship. We need friends, and they're different to our family. We can be friends with our family members, of course, but our friends are the family we choose for ourselves, really. When you are looking at a relationship, see if you can make this bucket big, because it's going to help you last. And also, it's very solid. I think the friend bucket is a really solid one in the relationship. It's one that can make everything work. I think it makes everything work more than most of the other buckets, actually, because the love is there as your partner, but it's also the love is there as your partner as a friend. So you have like two levels of it in a way. And we love our friends, and we are there for our friends, and that's what you want to have in your relationship as well as all the others. So talk to your partner or have a look at the way you are treating each other, and if you're not being very good friends to each other, maybe it's time to start being better friends to each other. I always think when we are living together or in very close contact in terms of seeing each other a lot, even if we choose not to live together, if we are, I know this sounds weird, but if we treat people like they were our guest, then we will be actually more polite. And that's sort of a good way to look at it, that when we have a guest in the house, we are polite and considerate and thoughtful and do things for them and go out of our way. Do that same treatment to the person who's your partner, because don't lose that. Because when we start losing that and we become all sharp and difficult and nasty with them, things will not go well. So work on the friend bucket and see if you can improve it even more.